And we are live coming to you from all over the place. We got Canada, we got New England, Philly, and me in the dirty South. Still wear shorts, so I feel good about it, about things. How's everyone doing tonight?
Great.
Not wearing shorts tonight.
A little chilly in Montreal area there, Yannick.
a little snow flurries tonight. Yes.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm not missing Northern Iowa at all right now at this time of year. How's it up there where you're at, Eric? Is it getting chilly yet, or?
No, right now it's not too bad. Yes.
Welcome. Yeah. Welcome to my channel. It's first time here, Eric. So welcome to the channel.
No, not my pleasure. I've been in the chat a bunch of times, and you've been over with us over at because I'm Carlos, and it's always fun to have you over there. So thanks for inviting me over here.
Yeah, and we're gonna get into some Expo talk tonight, but the first little thing, I don't know if we got 357 in the house. What's up, AB Scott and everyone? We have a full house tonight. You forgot to forget Top Hat. Yeah, Top Hat. That's from last week. A little callback. Josh Packman. Smash the like button so Eric pays. Yeah.
Scott, am I allowed to tell Josh to shut up on your channel?
Yes, you can. And we're not monetized, so you can even go further if you like.
No, not necessary. Just good old-fashioned shut up, Josh.
But it's not from me, Josh. It's from Eric.
Oh, no, he knows who it's from.
Oh, I know.
He's expecting it.
What is this? Thought Carlos was just coming on. Did Eric just tag along? No, I honestly...
I follow Carlos.
Honestly, I did invite him for the hockey preview with Joe and Amish Dave, but we just did not connect. And I thought tonight, some questions I have will be pertinent to his travel to the Expo. Jeff McMahon. Hello, everyone. Is it Friday already?
We got all the Friday regulars. Good evening, Jeff.
Yeah.
Good evening, Zach.
Yeah.
And Zach, few people know that when Eric is on the screen, when Scott's doing his thing, the like button, we still charge Eric for it. But when Eric's on the screen, we double it.
Can I get off the screen, please?
5% more than double of zero. So my question is, before we start saying hello to everyone, is I did a little asking question yesterday. Does anyone here ever get burned out on any phase of the hobby at all? Social, the card collecting, in any part of it at all? Go ahead, Yannick. You may speak, sir.
I get fed up of all the nonsense content, I guess. that's where I hit my
right.
And now more, especially now, it's more about kind of like, we got nothing to talk, so let's talk about how much we have nothing to talk. So that's I mean, if you want to go on, like, you need the daily news and update all the time, but if we do it how we do it on Friday night and here even on Sunday night, like, I mean, we're just gonna shoot the breeze, right? So
right. Yep. And try to keep it up, but I'm just really confused on the term. I know what burnout means. I get burned out at work. I get burned out on things I don't like, that a grind, but not on my hobby. And I guess mine is broad enough where, I might get bored with something and turn to something else. But
I think if you get burned out, you do it wrong, because the hobby is supposed to be fun, and it's supposed to be, you're supposed to be relaxing when you're doing this, which is I do. The day that I'm gonna start getting stressed, that's the day I guess I'm gonna have to find something else.
Right.
So,
and I mean,
so I think I'll add a piece to that. It's I agree with the concept that in a hobby you really can't get burned out because it's optional. You can stop and start, speed up or slow down. That's different. That's a different conversation. But when it comes to the hobby thing, though, if you've got enough variety to what you're doing, I literally will stop collecting something for a little while, switch gears over to the other thing. If money's a little tight, then we just chill out and enjoy what we already got. There's really, and even the content thing, Yannick's thing, I get that. Here's the thing: I don't have to watch it, so it doesn't matter. Make
Same.
50 million videos. Make a video every hour on the hour. It makes no difference whatsoever. I do not have to watch it. If it doesn't interest me, I don't watch it. If I don't care about it, I don't watch it. So make as many videos as you want. And if I'm not interested in the topic, subject matter, I won't watch it. I won't engage in it. So content can't burn me out. The hobby itself can't burn me out. The cards can't burn me out. Making content can't burn me out because nobody's putting a gun to my head telling me to make it. If I don't want to, I won't.
Right. And you just make up stuff. The quarterback thing that you started this year, that just shows how much fun you have with this whole thing. And I think
all-time great Josh Rosen.
Yeah, and I think we all have a little bit of something like that in our collection. Eric has, or you have Rosen. We all have our thing.
Keep it up.
They're basically on the same tier, honestly.
Now,
pretty much the same.
Now, Eric, do you have like something you collect that's funny or off center, or just
very weird?
Yeah, something bearded guys that needed to wear glasses in the league, anything crazy like that. Do you have anything that you pick up?
Well, I don't just I don't just collect cards.
Right.
I collect anything to do with vintage hockey, and especially vintage Bruins. So for an example, my good friend Yannick down here, this is sitting on my desk. It is a Phil Esposito endorsed street hockey ball.
That's cool.
Sitting above me up here is a Gordie Howe skate sharpener in its full package.
Can we see that?
Yeah,
Eric's package? No, please.
Here's a Phil Esposito hockey boot wax tin.
Right.
Here's some bottle caps with some Bruins faces on it from Coca-Cola back in the 60s.
Right.
So I collect, fun stuff like that. It isn't just about the cardboard.
Yeah. If anybody, the Sanderson to Oars is Instagram, if you want to see some of the greats in the hockey world that he rubs elbows with, even when they have a restraining order against him,
especially that.
Go see that. Go see that. He works at a card shop. They get a lot of people and a lot of ex-players.
We had a busy day today. We had 8.
Looks like it.
We had 8 members of the Bruins 1970 Stanley Cup team in today. It was a madhouse today, but I was high as a kite.
Your Bruins are playing well right now, starting the season.
Yeah, that means nothing. We're not going to talk about that.
Eric, I thought we were going to talk about the amazing regular season Boston Bruins and how important the regular season is because it worked out so well last year.
Yeah.
Record-breaking regular season.
My dad brought it up, and I go, funny you say that, because I'll have somebody on my channel tonight that will not want to talk about it.
Some would suggest a Hindenburg-like ending.
Yeah, I don't care about their regular season. I just want them to get into the playoffs, and then I'll start caring.
So, Mike, I know you collect. Me and you've been to shows and other things and talk all the time. But
it's amazing we both collect.
Yeah, but you've collected stuff pre-war, 1800s, all the way up. But let's talk for a minute about your figures of sports collecting and Ghostbusters. You also are not just cards, right? You expand into other things.
Yeah, I don't actively add to other collections that much, but you have collections, and then you go in and out and pick up some stuff. And there's always something new to do. And I used to buy a lot more sports memorabilia, Phillies memorabilia, autographs. I used to chase autographs, like not like chasing down guys at all the hotels and stuff, which a lot of people do, but like all the charity. There used to be so many charity events, and really post COVID, that's just doesn't happen anymore. So there's always
Right.
stuff to do, but even in the hobby, it's so diverse. Like I don't know. I collect and do what you do for your personal collection with cards daily and think about cards daily, and then I work with cards with the selling side of things absolutely daily, if not hourly. And cards don't really burn me out. So I'm not saying it's not possible, but it seems to me that, and I think the biggest reason people are burned out is because it's a title that gets some clicks, to be honest. But I haven't actively watched videos talking about hobby burnout, but I know it's been a big topic of
It's a hot
conversation
topic
in the
right now.
community. And so just my perspective without watching the videos, my assumption is that people are either that's the new thing to make videos about to garner some attention, or people maybe are getting burned out because they're not actually collecting what they love and loving what they collect. Maybe they're just doing what other people are telling them, or you're doing stuff to impress other people, or you're just, I don't know what it is, but I can see getting overwhelmed in the hobby. But if you're actually
Does
enjoying what you're collecting, it seems like it'd be kind of tough. Maybe it's trying to, put too much effort into videos to try and, get a couple hundred people to watch them. I don't know.
I have a rule about effort that takes care of that for me. Just saying, I do. But one thing I would throw in also, agreeing kind of with Mike's point, Scott, you know what I'm thinking for you? I'm thinking addiction to burnout Tuesdays. I'm thinking you just combine the two. If you just combine the two, then you go viral. If you become addicted to hobby burnout, that would be like it's the Venn diagram. You hit all the pieces all at once. It's incredible. Think about it.
Yeah, the addiction thing makes more sense to me than the burnout thing.
I think you should
if
be
you're
addicted
burned
to
out, you just go away. You just go away.
But if you're addicted to burnout, you can't go away, Scott. You're addicted. You can't leave the burnout behind.
It's just that.
I think the addiction to sports cards, though, like I know that was a topic a while ago. I think that seems like a more real
that can happen.
Scenario because
thing,
you can become overly obsessed with it, and you can easily overspend what you should.
I think the people though that we're speaking about it the loudest are not doing it from a sincere place.
No,
but I do think that is the more realistic scenario. Burnout is just because I'll be a little less nice than Scott is on a lot of these things where he doesn't. It's like stupid. You have to be really like to be legitimately hobby burned out. You're an idiot. You can literally just walk away for a bit. Go do something else, or mix it up a little bit. Go start your own Josh Rosen Super PC just to screw around, and you can do it on the cheap. Like it doesn't have to be very. It literally is because it's cheap, and because it amuses me, and because it annoys me.
If you're locked in a room and you are opening, case after case of 1988 tops, I guess I can see how you get a little burned out. Opening the same box of cards for 48 hours straight.
87 tops, I would be fine, but 88 tops, no way.
Well, shoot, tops are trying to make it feel like sometimes we're opening up 87 all the time as much as they put it in the product. But yeah, I no matter where you're coming from with this whole burnout thing, it's kind of hard. And when you don't go in depth on what you're really burned out and why, it doesn't make much sense. But if you are, you are. And I'm not saying you're not. It's just trying to make sense of it all. And I'm with y'all. I'm trying to point out more subtly that I think it is for clicks. And I'm just trying to do it a little, subtle. But
why are you being subtle? What are you trying to do? Protect your sponsorships? Like for God's sake, just say it.
My whole thing is
Eric, help me out here. Like, what are you worried you're going to lose your monetization? You don't have monetization.
The 25s of people that watch this might, get upset.
Well, listen, Scott. If anything, what we've learned this week is that if people are upset with you, first thing you have to do is go and get into your car. Okay. And what you want to do is you want to do a video in your car, 9 or 10 minutes long, and just keep repeating your apology and your reasoning over and over again for at least 9 to 10 minutes, and everything should work out wonderfully for you.
Correct.
Is that the secret
That
formula?
that has worked for some people.
That has worked for some people. Be the secret in the hobby right now.
And it might get you a whole segment on my live stream where I make fun of you.
Yeah, I watched some. I did watch most of your live stream the next day.
Why?
To watch you, Eric, and hit the like button so you pay.
Ugh.
Zach wants to know names.
Yes.
I don't know.
Scott, to be serious here for a minute, and maybe Mike, I'd like to get your take on this.
Go ahead.
When it comes to this stuff, if you're not going to bother naming names, look, it's your prerogative. You don't want to name names. You don't want to get into that thing. Well, then don't even make the video talking about it either, because you're not doing anything. Because then half the people are like, okay, so I think I know who are you talking about? It's the same as I'm burned out, but you're not being specific. It's the exact same criticism you're levying. If you're talking about a thing, it's like if you're talking about this, just say it. Yeah. Get on with it. Or delete the damn video and move on.
It was one of those things, like y'all said, it kind of came, it snowballed to where one person said it, then somebody else caught on to it, and then it became like this whole group of people talking about how they're somehow burned out in the hobby space, but never really explained it. And
my response is to point, laugh, cackle, and move on. Like, I don't care. Be burned out. Be not burned out. Whatever. Have fun. Have a good time.
I don't know. A lot of people get too worried about what other people are doing and collecting and stuff too. I noticed 100%. That. Like basketball was super popular for a while, and I could care less about basketball. So you know what I did? I still didn't collect basketball, and if videos were all about basketball cards, I didn't watch them, so it didn't really affect or bother me at all.
But now you've killed the basketball market, so thanks.
Oops. But I mean, like, everyone gets upset, like, who people are collecting and stuff, and, you know, it's silly to collect this or that. Like, I don't know. I think it's fun to collect a little bit from all eras and all different stuff, is, you know, stuff you're interested in. But
yeah, because I think everybody here collects a little bit of everything. I mean, Eric is more of a vintage hockey guy.
I mean, I even have some freaking Mets cards in my collection, sadly. So, you know, nobody's perfect.
All right. We got Stop Collecting 2020 Tops from Amish Dave, Henry S., who talked about Mangini. Mangini, I think, started a whole burnout thing this past week. And then
I thought it was Baseball Collector. I thought Baseball Collector was the first one.
I thought baseball. Oh, I might have him confused.
Don't take credit away from Mike. Mike deserves credit.
He might have.
I am giving the man his credit. He deserves it. He is a trendsetter.
For collectors. You know, it kind of went on, and a lot of these people I talk to, not on a daily basis, but I do talk to them. And,
I got something I'd like to show that actually is something parallel to what I would collect. It's not card, but it's made of cardboard. And I got this at the Expo. It's Mel Allen's baseball game. It's a 33 vinyl. And basically cool. I didn't, since it's hockey wonderland over there, I didn't have much stuff to buy on my list, so this is one that kind of like pops out for me there. And I like games. I like those baseball games, dice games, and all that stuff. So I don't think I'll play this one. I think it's more like a display thing, but that was pretty cool.
Yeah, Jan comes up with some stuff, man. That's some cool stuff. Now let's talk about the Expo a little bit. First, Eric, as a traveler from United States to our great friends to the north, how How difficult was
Massachusetts, United States, Canadian Protectorate, Massachusetts. He likes to pretend Moonlight is an American, American. Yeah.
Please tell us how your border
cross. How tough was it for you
to get across the border?
Yeah, I mean, for somebody that's never done it,
to get into Canada, it was extremely easy. We were over the border and through everything in less than 5 minutes. Getting back into the United States, I was quite irate because all these just filthy Canadians decided
your people
that that CFL football isn't worth watching, so they're going to invade Buffalo, New York.
That's cool, Henry.
Another Canadian Protectorate. Go on.
And go to the Monday Night Football game. So I had to sit as an American citizen trying to get back into my country. I had to sit on the Rainbow Bridge for over an hour to get through the border because of all these filthy Canadians saying, the CFL sucks. I'm going to go to the Buffalo Bills Monday night game instead. And I'm still upset about it.
All I'm hearing is somebody with terrible planning skills went at the worst possible time that he could have and is blaming everybody else, but not taking responsibility.
Right.
I was not aware
that Monday nights exist and that Monday Night Football is a thing.
I was not aware, again, that the filthy Canadians invade Buffalo Bill games.
They are literally 15,000 season ticket holders from Canada for Buffalo Bill games.
Yeah, I was going to say
for decades.
That ain't new. Almost moved the team to Toronto, man.
That ain't new.
Toronto Bills.
I didn't do the Buffalo Bills research.
You didn't do any research, clearly.
Missed that part.
Wow. Dang. Okay.
A lot of football fans in Canada don't want to watch a game with singles, so they head to Buffalo to watch.
There should be an express lane to get back into my country.
You don't have a country.
You know what? It probably been clear. The bike path that goes along it, right?
Yeah, you could have biked your way back.
Right.
You would have been able to get by. You could have weaved.
I almost had my wife drive, and I was going to walk. I was so fed up.
That would have been great content. See, Scott, all the things that we have to think.
Wait a minute.
Yannick, we have to think of all the things because this guy can't plan, can't think, can't Google, nothing.
I got one question. With one bad hip, is that a consistent circle? Is that a complete circle when you're walking? Because how you walk with that limp, is it?
Yeah, sometimes I limp and I end up going in a circle. I'm like, how did I get
I can't get it going straight. I was just wondering.
How did I get back here?
I was just wondering how that worked.
Yeah.
So did you claim your Gretzky rookie, Eric, when you crossed the border, like we told you?
They said they were out of them, but more were coming in.
You have to sing the national anthem, and then they give you a couple of peaches.
And then
he kept trying to. We had a question about getting across the border and customs, and then it's like all I said is like Eric just literally tapes it into the inside of his jacket so they don't know, and just walks across like the Michelin Man.
Yeah.
Well, the good news is I got my passport Friday back, so that's my first step.
Yeah.
And it got that back way quicker than any of my PSA orders. So
is it a air, land, sea passport or just a land?
Oh yeah, apparently that's the thing. I didn't know that.
Apparently it's the thing.
What?
From Eric's buddy Tim, because again, all the people who have issues are related to this guy.
You watch your mouth. You don't. No, you watch your mouth. Just say Tim. You don't have to say Eric's buddy Tim.
Timmy Two Hats.
Yeah, you don't have to add my name to his. Thank you.
Oh, I do.
And by the way, I was stuck with him yesterday too here in Massachusetts.
It all comes together.
I don't remember Travis Lulay. Does anybody else remember?
I vaguely remember him, but he's one of those guys.
I recognize the name.
Henry goes to church with him.
There you go.
That went to Montana State. Yep. All right. Yeah, because so I'm very happy to have that. I meant to put up in my corner here how many months I'm still waiting on my PSA order. I'm on my 13th month. I meant to put that up today.
Well, Scott, have we also made clear that it is literally like a big Scott prop? PSA is like, yeah, man, we've already cycled through everybody else's 14 times over. We've got one box, and we're just gonna leave it in the corner until hell freezes over.
Victor, the rookie card specialist has stuff in that order too. We talked about it.
Y'all can wait. By the time it comes back, we will have figured out the rookie card definition. We will all have agreed on it by the time we get back.
Yeah. So my next question is: so we all go to card shows. I've heard things in Chantilly wasn't as busy, Dallas wasn't as busy, still busy, but not as busy as months before. Mike went to Philadelphia, so that one was busy.
Another one coming up real quick though. The next Philly show is probably two weeks away. It's a little quicker turnaround than usual, so we'll see.
I know y'all said in one of the corridors was really packed, but was the show itself packed as what y'all more or less?
It broke the record.
Never seen that many people.
Yeah, awesome. It's almost 50% more than the previous one, which was previously the record.
Every day.
I'm sure y'all don't have. Do y'all have number of people from other countries that come to that? I mean, does anybody have any?
I think the promoter probably. It's one of those things though. You're not going to be able to ask. I'm sure they have some pre-order numbers, the promoter, because they had a record number of pre-orders. Folks that bought the tickets ahead of time online. So that can give you an indicator. But obviously, if somebody walks up to the booth and then buys the tickets right there, you're not going to ask them, "Hey, where are you from?" You're not doing a survey. But there's a lot of folks the border towns were always historically really good for the Expo, and nowadays that's why when I did the podcast episode with Bobbles, we were chatting about it, and Bobbles himself is also potentially getting a passport as well. So if he and Mrs. Bobble get a passport, they may come up as well. But the bottom line though is that when it comes to this show, I said we got to treat this show as an anomaly. The Expo is kind of its own thing. People in Canada will travel to specifically this show because it is the show. It is our national. But it's always, even during the dead era, I was in line for promos when the rest of the hobby was supposedly dead. And I'm like, why am I in line then? Why do I literally have to be in line to get these promo cards in the late 90s when supposedly no one's collecting? And yet here we are. So comparatively today, we're in a much healthier state, and there was still brisk traffic. Lots of folks were there. Folks were hanging out, chatting. But again, if you're a dealer who has ridiculous pricing and stuff, then you're a museum, just like any other show anywhere else.
And
I heard Eric talking about that.
Talking that we did some walking around together. Some people's prices are still completely outrageous. They are way over what they should be.
Prime time COVID prices.
Yeah. They're trying to get their money back. I have too much into this card kind of stuff. That's not my problem. Okay. It's not 3 years ago. It is today. And you are going to put your entire case back in your car full. Are you here to sell, or are you here to hope and pray? And there were too many people, in my opinion, that were there to hope and pray.
Still.
Now do you think that's because they're too much into it, but at these big shows like this, I have a feeling that you still have a lot of people that go to this because they know it's the big show with but they're not, as educated as you and Yannick are to look at this, and they see these cards and they think, well, that's the price, I'm going to pay it. These dealers know that if I wait it out, I'll probably get somebody. I don't want to call them suckers. They're just not educated to purchase that. Do you think there's any of that going on at that?
I think so. And also the fact that it's a major show, second biggest in North America. There are people walking around with a lot of money in their pockets. It's not the weekend show with 50 tables that maybe you brought $70 with you, right? And if you see something, you'll get it. People are walking around with thousands upon thousands of dollars in their pocket, and looking to buy stuff. So people are depending on that. This is a vacation. People traveled to this. They have the money, and they're hoping that people are going to be like, what the hell? I'm here, I'm here once a year. I'll pay this extra price. Where Yannick and I were walking around going, there's no goddamn way I'm paying that. You're out of your mind. And then, we went other places, and I bought the exact same cards for half the price, somewhere at a different table in better condition. I'm speaking specifically about the Ray Bork rookie I bought. We were looking at tables; they're $150, and they were banged up. Well, I got it for $60, and everyone that has seen it thinks I should have it graded because it might come back a 9 or a 10.
Nice. Yeah.
One guy was looking to put money in his pocket and get his product off the table. Other people were hoping and praying that somebody was going to be dumb enough to buy it.
Yeah, I was interested to hear about that story because I felt like this year at the National that most of the sellers, you always got your couple of hard-headed older guys that are just going to do what they're going to do. But most of them were wanting to get their merchandise going, flow. Most of them had their best day the day before the actual show started, with just the dealers and the people with the special passes. Did you hear much of that going on? Didn't you go a day early, Carlos, or were you there the first day it was open?
So when you're talking about the first day it's open, you got to remember the VIP night. The show doesn't technically count it, but like it's a normal day, in the sense that if you've got VIP passes, you're in. You can get in there. The first official day of the show is Friday for like general public, non-VIP holders. VIP night, though, has become a good place to do some dealing because if you get the pass, in my case now, because I'm friends with the AMG folks, basically I get in with a dealer pass, so it's basically the same.
Right.
But honestly, if you really have a lot of time in your hands and you really want to play that game, then if you get a dealer pass, then yeah, you can go in like during setup. And if you go in during setup, then obviously you got the pick of the litter as people are setting their stuff
awesome.
up. Yeah. So that's if you 100% want to have access to as much of the inventory as possible before everybody else, because again, the dealers are going to pick through some of the stuff. They're going to go through, and by the time you get to Friday, even though it's VIP night, some of the stuff on that table has already been marked up at least once before you even start the show. So, but that's why I laugh that a lot of people like I talk about all these. It's like, here's the thing: you're already looking at something that's already been marked up at least once, if not twice, before you even got in the front door.
Right. Eric and I got to walk and pick up the early bird warm there. So it's obviously some of these deals are even made before like the door opens. So.
Yeah.
Right.
So overall, maybe like Carlos and Eric can agree or correct me, but I think they had a record sale, record people at the door. They had record pre-sales. They had record for autographs as well. Mike Tyson, Ric Flair sold out like in no time. Saturday was the best and the worst day, as in like the most people, obviously, but Saturday at I think around noon, it was basically a parking lot, both halls and that hallway in between.
The hallway became the pinch point because honestly, I stayed in the main hall during that period, and it was fine. It was fine when I stayed in the main hall, but that hallway between the two, I think that's something they're going to have to think about next time.
Even the main hall, at some point, you couldn't really move much or look at stuff.
It was absolutely packed, and any fire marshal from any country, if they were there, they would have shut the whole place down.
So. Lots of overpriced, lots of good prices, lots of no price on. That's one thing that's just one of my pet peeves when you go around. And I think if you don't bother pricing your stuff, it's probably because you're overpriced to start with. So, not necessarily, but there's nothing more that I hate that you wait, and then when you finally establish an eye contact with someone and hey, man, can you show me the price? Sometimes it's way over your ballpark, so
you just walk away because you never
you never know. Like, I mean, most of the stuff that I'm looking for, I know what I'm gonna pay or what's average or not. All that hockey stuff, I'm not aware of, but some of them I was curious because come on, you see the autograph, patch, and rookie status. So you're like, how much is this? And then you get it's way above my range. So
yeah. And if I'm not mistaken, Stuke, he sets up in Minnesota area, if I'm not mistaken. Or let me know, Stuke, if I'm wrong. But waiting for a dealer to look up comps is not fun. Yeah.
No.
That's
agreed.
I've seen that a couple of times too.
Yeah, no, I've walked away as they have their head down in their phone or Beckett or whatever they use. They look up and I'm gone.
right. Yeah. I don't mind like one or something, but I don't. I know when you got 1,000 cards and cards prices move a lot, but I think we're kind of at a point now in the hobby where they've kind of settled out enough where you can have a price on it. It's not going to move from day to day at that much. So
the VIP night, there was a lot of people were trying to gauge, I guess, price wise, or if people are buying or trading. I'm a buyer, so I don't trade. Not that I had anything to trade or anything, but I do have friends that had tables, and a lot of people were trying to, this is what I have. Are you interested? Please buy me out, or please make a deal so I can walk away with something else because I've been stuck with these cards for 2 years. I've seen a lot of that.
Yep.
Yeah, I've seen quite a bit. I've heard that as well at some of the shows that I've gone to. I've only been to one show since the National, and I was not very happy with that one. I got another one I'm going to, pretty big one here in town at a convention center. I wanted to go to WrestleCade last week, and I decided not to go and spend my money at the card shows that WrestleCade was about a half a mile from me. But I was a good boy, stayed home, kept my money in my pocket. A lot of Daniel Bryant was sent, or Brian Danielson, whatever he's going by now, his real name. He was sold out in his within a month. They've been selling their tickets for months. I don't know how it all works at those things, but not everybody sells tickets. I don't know if some of them are the price for admission. I wanted to go just to see how it worked. Does anybody know how those wrestling convention things work?
Oh, I think it varies. I've never tried to attend one of those things. I think the concept's cool. As big as a wrestling fan as I am, I'm not attending a wrestling convention. I'm sorry. I'll go to a show, but that's about it.
Well, it was some pretty good wrestlers that were, in WWE, a couple of AEW people.
Yeah.
Of course, being here in North Carolina, we got a lot of wrestlers that live here. So they were there. You had the Hardy Boys and some other ones that live here.
Sure.
So that was the reason why. So it was VIP through the weekend. Saturday seems like it was the busiest, but Sunday is kind of like, to me, that's the deal day. Was that a good day? Did anybody go Sunday and check out what was going on Sunday? Was it busy?
Oh yeah.
Was dealers trying to make deals, or how did that work?
There were still folks there for sure. What I would say, so Eric will attest because I'm sure you were there for basically the duration. I stayed into the afternoon, but I'll say from the dealers that I dealt with and talked to, there were definitely dealers that wanted to make some deals on Sunday, get some stuff out. Obviously, the folks that were doing museums, nothing is going to change their mind. They're going to roll through it to the end. But one thing that definitely moves quite a bit on Sundays is wax, because obviously a lot of the folks that are packing up everything, they don't want to bring back cases. The whole point is to get rid of the stuff, get it out the door and everything. So you see the price sliding. I joked about the whole thing with the AMG guys, and I did the AEW metal was the big one that I picked up all the boxes of.
Oh, yeah.
But throughout the whole week, the price just kept dropping. The price was already very good. Right from the start, it was good. And then it just steadily kept dropping. And then obviously I was able to get the bro price. But then by the time we get to Sunday, then the price was already really low. And then I go, I'll give you 25% off that. So we dropped it another chunk down to bring the price down. But
how many boxes of that did you end up getting?
9.
And the first one you opened, you got the case hit out of, right?
Uh-huh.
So it's like after that, it's kind of downhill.
So I pulled 4 PMGs and 4 autographs. I destroyed
I
the
saw
odds.
those too. Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
So the last $5 you bought, they paid you to walk away with them?
Almost, yeah, just about. I charged them almost as much as I charge Eric for the light button. Almost.
Nice.
Out of control.
That's crazy. Like, look, at this point, if we do a couple more expos, I'll be doing this from my palatial estate.
Because the National seems like to me on Sunday, the last 2 is packed. I guess the National last year set a record for attendance.
Yeah,
but Mike,
that was the record one.
Yeah, so when we were there the whole time, but Sunday it felt like an old National. It was ghost town, and it was chilly in the building on Sunday. That's how least amount. Did you not feel that way, Mike, when we were there Sunday?
Oh yeah, definitely. It was for as hot as it was early in the National, and for as little space there was to move around Sunday, it was a little chilly. You had full aisles you could just kind of, wander in a little, just take as much space as you wanted. Wax was being marked down.
Yeah, Wax was
for the first time in 4 years. It was back to normal times.
Right. It was. I kind of figured that. The reason why I was asking y'all, because I think Sunday is my day. I collect, I can wait till Sunday and probably still get plenty of stuff that fits my PC. No problem.
It does work because, but I think part of the reason why, and Eric can kind of attest to this, is that where it is in the city, because obviously we call it the Toronto Expo, but it's actually in the suburb outside of Toronto. It's in Mississauga, right, which is it's close enough. But the thing is, where you are is that people can access it, and a lot of folks go on the weekend. So obviously Saturday is crazy, but if you're somebody who doesn't make it out on Saturday, there's enough time where if you get there on Sunday, you can actually take advantage of it. So like, right. so like to the locals. So whereas Chicago / Rosemont, the locals may or may not give a crap. Since it is Expo and it's once every 6 months for them, is that, and it's in the same place every time. We know exactly where it is. It's a situation where some folks will come by and be like, oh, let me go get, because the Upper Deck redemptions were still going on Sunday. So you're able to get the last couple of the various ones. And it's like, okay, go get some boxes. Now they're cheap. Go over there and get your pack redemptions while supplies last, while it's still going on. And everybody's trying to wind down. But at the same time, they're like, yeah, I want to get rid of some of this stuff. Take it.
Well, we want to hear from you about the tag booth. That's what Ed Weskergriff is asking.
Oh, I carefully studied and examined this. I'm glad you asked. Let me tell you, that's basically the answer to that question. Coaster production was down, Scott. Coaster production was down real low. It was real bad. It was basically Eric just walking. Basically, what he's doing right now, he was doing while he was by there. It was a lot of pity. The goalie was a very lonely individual. They had a tag goalie, and then basically they couldn't even get Floating Head to come by more than once in a while. He was wearing a shirt. Does that help? He wore a shirt while he was manning his own booth and actually trying to make money. Does that count?
With all of his non-tag.
Yes, of course.
They were basically watching how many people PSA were getting.
I heard PSA.
Literally,
just for you, Scott. Just for you, Scott. I've got the coaster here. Just for you.
So PSA sounds like they were busy.
They broke a record. Yes, yes. They had 100 PSA.
I did not
employees.
see that at the National. I honestly didn't.
They had
PSA Canada, I think, broke a record last spring, and now they broke a record that
they
think they could touch.
The information that I got from Sherry and Brad when they were working it is that by Saturday, early Saturday, they had almost already surpassed what they had done on the previous show, which was their record for submissions, taking it. The on-site grading, this is the first time they've done it, but they were able, they were doing a brisk business, like basically bringing cards in. They took in 1352 manuals.
Geez. So that was more than $150 per card on those. So
slightly, marginally.
Yeah. Ed wants to know, but what about the steam? Was there steam clouds coming out?
You actually have to turn on the machines for there to be steam.
Tag, this is Eric's buddy. Just follows him everywhere. Tag had 35,000 cards submitted before they ever opened. That's how good they are. So, Eric, how much time did you have to spend at the
tag booth?
The Beckett booth chilling there?
Oh, Jesus Christ!
You know, the Beckett booth did have people around it. To be fair, the Beckett booth actually did have people around it.
They were kind of busy. It was when you went by there, but then again, it was also pen and paper. The only one that was pen and paper at the National.
There's Eric waiting there at Beckett.
Look, all I got to say is every time, and you're only seeing a piece of it there, if you had scanned and panned a little bit from where Yannick is showing, you would have seen a gigantic poster that took up almost to the ceiling. And it was basically just a big ad with Eric's face on it going, I love Beckett. It was kind of weird. I thought he kind of was going with the opposite, but that gigantic poster seemed to indicate otherwise. So I think the Eric promotion was really working well for those Beckett guys.
He was trying to submit something. He thought about it.
See?
I mean, they didn't see their boss come in.
Ever since Jeremy went away, Jeremy from Beckett went away, Eric has had to take on greater and greater responsibility. That's why he was a busy man.
Eric tried to do the secret shopper, so
Yeah.
That's why he missed y'all's
undercover boss.
Show that's why he actually missed the show. He wasn't in traffic because of Buffalo. He was actually helping break down the booth.
Yeah, like basically his entire listen, he protests way too much. It's just his entire throne is built on an entire foundation of lies.
Beckett is a dumpster fire, and PSA crushed it like you can't possibly imagine.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Beckett was definitely the second biggest grader there with traffic. Mint, MNT, whatever they're called, they didn't even let them in the grader pavilion. They had to sit outside of it by the doors. They weren't even allowed in.
By the way, they would have had enough room if Beckett's booth had not extended to the end. There technically was enough room.
There was plenty of room to let them in.
They could have put them in there.
They had a card table and a little backdrop. They had like one table the size of my desk. Okay. And they were not allowed in. They had to sit outside the door, like at the kiddie table at Thanksgiving. That's where MNT was.
And it still did business in tag.
Yeah. And then you had KSA. Now KSA is really the true dumpster fire of Canada. And they had one 20-something-year-old girl working there. At no point in time in 4 days did she uncross her legs and put her phone down. She sat in a chair, legs crossed, looking at a phone. No, not one person came up to her table in 4 days.
Wait, Eric, you forgot the other AI grading company in the back. That guy was alone all weekend.
And then then you have the tag booth, and they had some kind of goalie, and you can shoot on it and all that. And I did not see. I saw people standing around out of a curiosity.
Kids.
I didn't see.
What are these idiots doing? Oh my God. What is this crap?
I didn't see. Now, listen, I didn't stand there all week and watch everything, but in and out, checking things out and walking by. I didn't see any business getting done over there. The business was getting done at PSA. It was a freaking madhouse. They put a building inside a building. Their setup was gigantic.
It was the same. They had the same setup for the most part at the National. For the pictures I saw,
I wasn't at the National. I don't know.
I know. Yeah, I'm just telling you. I have a reference because
they put a friggin' building inside a building.
Right.
Absolutely amazing what the amount of work and effort that went into this.
Right.
So the only people I saw, that was taking submissions that seemed busy was PSA and Beckett.
Right. Well,
I mean,
it makes a great point.
KSA was just sad. They didn't even have a
Right.
goalie. They
Well,
just had.
I have
poor girl
KSA
sitting there.
and mint slabs, so but I have them because I want the card that was in it, and it was a good price because of what the slab was. But
Actually,
so
the sausage guy was the busiest guy.
yeah. So is that literally a guy there selling meat?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a thing.
Okay, because
that's why we cleverly named him Meat Guy. It was
Hey, Mike,
we exhausted our
we went to at the
imagination to come up with that one.
Yeah, what was it? I think it was called Chocolate Moonshine, the place that had the
yeah, it was a fudge
chocolate
table.
covered cherries and blueberries and fudge. Good stuff.
Well, there's a meat guy, so if you need any cure meat of any kind, you go to this guy, he'll have him for you.
He doesn't make sandwich or nothing. He just sells cured meat.
No, he sells like pepperettes and like. Look, Scott, in the spring, we'll take a picture of the fucking booth for you. Okay, we'll take a picture so you can see exactly what we're talking about. We'll get him to wait for you. We'll get him to wait for you.
I was like, is this a like MEAT stand for something?
Yes. I want to explain this to you, right? So you go into the second largest show in North America, okay, and it's card table, card table, card table, card table, card table, card table, meat. That's it.
And that dude kills it. That dude kills it.
But that's it. It's
after PSA, you're probably the guy who made the most money.
I was gonna say, like that bastard. That bastard then goes home and then goes and does a cruise on his mega yacht. That bastard's got more money than us all.
It's insane. It doesn't make any sense why there is a meat table at a card show.
You never know when you gotta.
Like, Gordie Howe's last game-worn jersey. Here's some meat. It doesn't make any sense.
Well, in case you're in your hotel room that night and want to just take a bite out of something, you got it. I mean, you're good.
Well, hey.
But here's the most important question for you, Eric. And this is Wesker Griff's main, him and Amish Dave. I'm surprised Amish Dave didn't ask. How was the food in Canada? Get any good poutine? Give a rundown. Don't want to ask Canada guys. We want to ask the American.
Right. I won't eat poutine on principle. I refuse. That's mostly a French Canadian thing, and I'm just no. I refuse.
Why?
Why?
Explain it, please.
Well, as Yannick knows, I distrust all French Canadians. So I will not participate in their customs under any circumstances.
So you're one of the guys from Letterkenny.
You ain't all French. You see what shirt I'm wearing right now?
Oh, yeah, I did not notice that.
We're never gonna lose again.
These are the Sudbury Blueberry, Bulldogs.
Yeah,
we'll never lose a game again.
Never again.
So,
see, Scott, he set you up for that one. You weren't even ready.
No, I wasn't even. That got me. You got me.
So the rest of the food, now we can start down this trek. You have to make sure that you specify with the wait staff that you do not want mayonnaise on your food. Because if you do not specify this, they will bring you food with mayonnaise on it. And when you request there not to be any mayonnaise, the wait staff looks at you like, what?
You got to remember, Eric has a special diet.
What's wrong with this guy?
It's
Of
disgusting.
all, Eric has the diet of a 4-year-old. So to start with,
what, he eating up but macaroni and cheese with his hands? What?
Pretty much.
Spaghetti with his hands. You just put it on the table and he just slaps it and shoves it in.
See, I don't know what you're protesting about, Eric. I happen to know that you had some mayonnaise in the area and it was fine. What's the issue?
Oh yeah,
right there, a nice cup of mayonnaise right beside your head, and look at the smile on his face. He's thrilled. He's having a great time.
Loving it.
Yeah. Like, what kind of lies are you trying to tell the people?
That's disgusting.
So did you?
We got photographic evidence. We got photographic evidence. Bougie.
I don't understand how you don't like poutine. I mean, it's potatoes, cheese, and gravy. It's I don't know what that's not like.
On principle, I will not participate in French Canadian customs. I am a Bruins fan. I cannot support the Montreal Canadiens in any way.
Does Mrs. Wade know you were checking out the girls' legs the entire time?
Mrs. Wade being my wife at this time, because usually Mrs. Wade is referred to as my mother, who's a big part of the show on Fridays and is a known commodity and is more famous than I'll ever be. This time we're actually talking about my wife, and not only does she know about it, she encourages it and hopes that I will run away with someone and leave her alone.
Does Meat Guy have a value box?
That would be a good one.
Meat Guy does not need to lower himself to the level of peasants.
No.
You must elevate yourself to Meat Guy.
Yes.
Zach was remarking to Ed's 52 Mantle, is it rare? And Ed said yeah, that's a joke, Zach, that well, not a joke. A lot of people think because it's old, it's equals to rare. And we made a comment and talked about it at the house where mantles were not rare at the National. Hank Aaron rookie's not rare, you know.
It's easier to find a Mickey Mantle than it is a Von Hayes. That's for damn sure.
They've never been rare. But one thing I'll add, the reason why I specified the 13 whatever is not because, to be clear, the majority of those came for the onside grading. And they're collectors who have been holding them for years and would have been happy to get them graded, but they refuse to ship them. They're like, okay, you're doing on-site grading? Great. I will come down. I will bring the card. I will hand it to you. And then I want it back ASAP. They grade it on-site.
That's what was going on at the National.
Yeah.
And that's perfect. That's awesome for that. The National was the same way. High-grade meat from Stuke. Zach saying, doesn't so meat's taking over my whole chat over here. How does Meat Table not make sense anywhere?
You understand now the power of Meat Guy. Yeah. You understand the power. It's pervasive.
And KSA was so bored they started to grade meat. They were grading meat on site, encapsulating it, and grading it because they had nothing else to do.
We're gonna find out, Eric. I gotta go see if I can find some contacts at KSA. I'm gonna find out they also did better. They also actually graded, even though you didn't see it. I'm gonna find out they graded thousands of cards, and it tags over there's like, bros.
Carlisle says he likes his steak, like his cards, medium rare. That's pretty funny. So that you could always Battery's always going to come up with some good ones.
And you could go to a steakhouse and you can get a medium rare steak, and the steak is delicious.
Well, you can't go to a steakhouse because we've made clear that you can't find your way to a steakhouse. We've been to a steakhouse.
Excuse me, sir.
You were late again.
How many phone calls to your wife did you have to do to find the steakhouse?
I found my way to the steakhouse fine this year. I was just late again. Now, being late.
Was your GPS in Canadian? You couldn't understand it, or
no? I was working.
True.
You
were working at Beckett.
No, I was hanging out with Peter Forsberg actually.
Oh, okay.
Running away from the cops after hanging out with Peter Forsberg.
I have proof. It's true.
Okay. Yeah, I think I saw pictures.
Not that I like to name drop. But that's why I was late for dinner, because
there are a lot of men.
No, this is why I liberally use the mute on Eric. Just so you know, this is why.
Or hang out with Peter Forsberg. I'll be late for dinner.
Was he cooking that night, or I don't know. No, I'll let Eric speak because he makes me sound smarter. So, but anyway,
I do also a lot of people.
That's justification I've heard.
So, any last words on the expo before we move on? Anything I didn't touch on you think you should bring up for somebody? Because I'm about 80% sure I'm going to be there next year. you know,
for the fall one, right? November.
Yeah, fall. I'm going to November. Bring a jacket. I understand that.
Comfortable shoes. Yeah, very important.
I
don't know if you've heard this before.
Appetite
I don't know if you've heard this before.
Guy.
Yeah, it's true.
I'm not allowed to bring meats back in the country. Am I from Canada? I don't know.
Scott, if you go to Meat Guy, you're not bringing it back. Sorry.
No.
They're like, don't lie to the people, please. Come on, don't insult us.
Are you planning on flying, Scott? Driving?
Yes, I'm flying because driving is just way too far.
Yeah.
For me to make any sense. I also want to come up there because I want to make I've never been to Toronto. I've never been out of the country. So
well, that's great. If you come to the Expo, you won't be in Toronto.
True.
But I'm close enough to Toronto, right?
Like, that's true. You can go to Toronto from there, yes.
Right. So I want to go. The Hockey Hall of Fame is there, correct?
In Toronto,
Correct.
yes.
Okay. So I want to visit. My plan is to hit that take a day and go do some of that stuff. When I get up there and just do some sightseeing, whatever what Americans do in Toronto. I will get some poutine and tell everybody what it tastes like. I've had poutine before, but just on this side of the line, just not on that side of the line. So.
Yeah. Now remember, this would probably be advice that I would give to anybody who decides to come up for the Expo, especially the Fall Expo. So one of the first things you got to do is you go do your sightseeing, go check out your stuff, go to a local supermarket and get a jar of mayonnaise so that when you see Eric, you can get him to autograph it for you because Eric is a huge fan. Big time fan. He loves nothing more. Or you can get some packets and you can greet him by throwing packets at him. So that's the thing you can do as well. That's like a Canadian greeting, a traditional.
This is a good one, Henry. First rule of Meat Guys: don't talk about Meat Guy.
No, he said don't talk about boot.
A boot.
Boot. That's even better, Henry. Good job. I like that.
That's authenticity. That's the authenticity.
That's right. Yes, I'm planning on coming up in the fall. In November. Want to hit that because I want to hit Canton when I go to the National, and then hit the because I don't know when I'll be back to Toronto. I want to do something else the year after, go to somewhere else, try to hit somewhere different every year outside of the National, and even different types of collecting venues. I think I'm going to go to a huge video game one the year after on the West Coast, the National of video games, because I will not grow up. And that's my goal for next year's National Expo, and in the spring hitting going back to the Hall of Fame again. So going with my dad and hopefully meet Mike and some other people that watch the channel might be joining us up there. So have a little fun outing up there, and but. Found anything y'all want to talk about before we cut out for the evening, or?
Oh, we're actually live?
Yeah, we're live. We've been doing this.
I thought we hadn't started yet. Oh, Eric,
I know this isn't Friday night. This is the Sunday wind down.
I'm warmed up, so I'm good to go now. Are we starting? Did we hit live?
We still have two more hours, right?
Yeah, I was going to say, like, I haven't even gotten to segment 2 yet.
Well, I did want to. I meant to, and we were running. I wanted to get to the Expo, but that whole thing again, y'all touched on. I didn't know until you were talking about it. Where that same channel, what was that? Can you retell like what happened when you started your show out?
You're talking about the first segment, the first
yeah.
segment. Okay, so I'll give you the short version. Here's the short version.
Please.
A YouTube channel that goes. What's that?
Can you do it from your car?
I can try.
Okay.
I knew that's what you're talking about. So
yeah. So here's the short version. The short version is that a YouTube channel that goes by Sports Card Therapist, which had built a platform on the podcast originally. That was the big thing. He's not really big on YouTube. It was the audio podcast and then he has a YouTube channel where he's put that stuff, and slowly that YouTube audience is built. But anyway, he surrounded himself with a lot of different folks, ingratiated himself to some folks in the hobby. But part of what happened is eventually he got to a point where he was getting enough listenership that he had built up a pretty decent podcast following. I think he was in the top 50-ish in the hobby category of podcasts, which, considering how many podcasts there are in the hobby genre, is not bad. It's not half bad.
Right.
But he started to feel himself, and over time, he's become a little bit more arrogant with it. So anyway, the bottom line is he had an issue where he bid on a couple of Eli Manning cards, which, questions to begin with, but fair enough. 2-0 against Tom Brady in Super Bowls, though, so I can appreciate that. So he bids on these cards, is the high bidder. Cool. But then decides he's going to go forward, and he decides it's too high. He claims that he goes, I think it's being shilled. And it's like, the rest of us are like, well, too bad for you. Pay, you won. You won the auction, pay for the damn thing. So one of the underbidders did a little backseat investigating, figured it out. And when they discovered that was the case, all of a sudden, this guy who had talked from this high horse sanctimoniously down on other people, he gets flipped on. I appreciate the switch in the logo there. Well done by you. But the point is that all of a sudden, this guy from this high horse, so basically everything that he had said suddenly comes back on him. He got hammered left, right, and center from every turn. Since the Friday live stream, I got a little shout out from Sports Card Radio that they pushed it towards people watching this. So I've noticed an uptick in views in that segment. Right. And the other thing is that since then, the dude has basically deleted his Instagram, pulled every video from his YouTube channel, and now he's trying to vanish it. He's like Eric trying to make his way out of Buffalo.
Now, is he seen? I don't know if I've ever watched his channel. I thought I have, but does he show himself on his channel?
Yeah. Okay,
because I thought I've seen him. Because don't he do like group chats and stuff and have?
Yeah, he would do these roundtable episodes, and that. So now, so that's why I wanted to give you the short version. So the short version is that the fallout is going to be all the folks that he's associated with, including folks he's closely associated with, who now are suddenly going to have to find themselves. One of the things that I talk about on my channel a million times. Don't give blanket vouchers for anybody, because it can become this pain in the ass for you if somebody you've overly vouched for all of a sudden becomes a pain in the ass, and now all of a sudden you have to answer for it. So it becomes a real issue for you, even though you may not have had anything to do with the specific thing they did, but now you have to answer for it.
Like vouching for Eric.
And what?
Yeah, absolutely not.
What I'm curious about is my buddy one of his buddies too? Do you know what I'm talking?
Which one?
The one that I butt heads at that we've talked about before.
The guy you're bullying.
Yeah.
Ooh. No, here's what I'll say. There's a bunch of folks now that are basically. I'll put it through this way.
I couldn't think of his name. Sports Card Dad.
Oh yeah, well he's been on the channel a couple of times, and
I thought I had.
Yeah, he has for sure. He's staying quiet. He's laying low on that. Which look, I don't blame the guy. He's laying low. Right, I get it. Yeah. And it's one of those things where he can say truthfully that they did a couple of collaborations, but he wasn't part of his extended network but he's been called out by the guy a million times already too. So it's one of those things where if he's throwing all this praise on you and all of a sudden he's a problem, now you're going to have to probably answer for it. I'm sure he'll start getting it in the comments at some point, because Dustin was at least in the area, enough times and mentioned enough on his content that all of a sudden there's a perceived association, and that's how little it comes down to. If you've done enough collaborations with somebody and you've kind of praised each other back and forth, now after the fact, it's like, okay, so now you got to answer for what they did. It's like, that had nothing to do with me. It's like, well, now it kind of does.
Yeah. Now you've been associated with them. Yeah, that was the first. I'm not in that loop, so I didn't hear, and a lot of times I hear the stuff from your channel before I hear it from anyone else, because I don't really watch those channels that would talk about it.
Well, we make most of the stuff up that we talk about, so I wouldn't get your news from us.
Well, Eric was making jokes about that apology video. That's what he was referring to. And then, of course, that apology video from the Instagram suddenly disappeared. Now, it would be absolutely a terrible shame if somebody had a copy of the thing in its entirety. It'd be a shame.
Yeah, that would be a shame.
That'd be terrible.
Yeah.
Terrible.
But I was just hoping that you could touch on that, because the more these people that are supposed to be like the watchdogs or the keepers seem to be the ones that are first to kind of, or not first, but we're finding things out by slowly.
Pretty much, yeah, exactly. Victor's right. Only the content gods are truly pure. Only the content gods are truly pure and will never let us down. That's right.
Victor, great video today on Joey Votto. The in-depth rookie card of Joey Votto. I did not know he had 8,000 rookie cards, but thank you for breaking that down. And I'm sorry you had to break it down at the same time. But I'm going to end it here. Good video. Thank you guys for coming on and expanding on your trip to the Expo. I know you've talked about it at length on Carlos's channel. But I had some questions as well. Somebody wants to go for the first time, and I'm sure I'll be talking to you before then. They'll have at least one more show before that one, right? Spring and fall, 2 shows a year.
Yeah, the spring will be the next one. That'll be the one where, that's why I say, like, if I recommend to somebody, go to the fall one if you choose one versus the other. They're both good shows, though. It just depends. Like, for somebody like me, it's in my backyard, so I'm always gonna attend both if I have the option.
One last question while it's on my mind. I've thought about it several times. We've gone this on a different route. Was there any Bedard buzz at this show? Being that
a little bit, people were looking for it. I've seen 2.
There's not that many cards out yet, so it's one of those things. Like, there are a handful of cards out there right now. You got the CHL stuff,
they don't
the
grade
Canada
well,
stuff.
Right?
No, they're beat up. The
draft card.
Pretty much out of the pack.
Series 1 is really beat up. I don't know if there's ever
the short print. The short print one is beat up.
It's a full bleed photo. It's a full bleed photo, so it tends to chip. Yeah. And quality control with Upper Deck is a little spotty. I have actually, since the show, I've actually seen some folks pick up some copies that actually look pretty clean. So it is possible, but like, you're beating the odds. So if you actually get a really nice copy, I could imagine there being a nice premium for it, given how easily they chip.
Pretty sure I saw a 9 going for about 35 or $4,000 a couple of days ago.
Probably, yeah. With the amount of chipping and quality assurance issues, I can imagine that being true.
Yeah.
And that'll probably go down to when the actual his rookie card comes out, that price will drastically.
Eric and I held one. The gentleman, remember, Eric said like he just got out of a pack, like 3/4 out of 4 were busted.
Yeah. And we pulled one at the shop here in Massachusetts, and we wanted to get rid of it as quickly as possible, and we sold it the next day. But it was all banged up. Like, and we know, like, just like you were saying, as soon as the Young Gun Series 2 comes out, this thing's going to be worthless, just like the CHL stuff that it came out last year is going to be worthless. Right. So, we pulled it at the shop. It was banged up. We immediately sold it and got, made some money on it. But it's right now, those things are hot potatoes, and who's going to end up with it last is going to.
What they're calling a short print, but it's a serious discussion on how short it's actually printed.
It's not that short.
Well, the thing is, Scott, though, here's the thing. It is a short print. The problem is, what are you comparing it to? If you're comparing it to the Young Gun, it's super short print. But like, I think when people say short print, they're like, oh, it must be 1 in 5 cases. Who the hell said that? The thing is, Upper Deck is literally going like, you're all morons. Like, they'll never say it out loud, but like, the sentiment inside is like, you're all idiots. We said short print. That's all it means. It's an Easter egg. We didn't tell you what the odds are. So don't assume random crap. It's like, we didn't tell you. It could be 1 per box. It's not. But it could be, what must be 1 per case? Based on what? Like, we didn't say anything. That's the whole point. We didn't tell you.
Yeah. Yeah. It could be, it could mean a lot of different things. So, or anything.
And it's not the manufacturer, and it's not the manufacturer misleading anybody, because it's an Easter egg. It's people running away with it and making up their own ratios and narratives. And it's like, and the manufacturer's like, dudes, it's a bonus. Take it as a bonus. Don't overpay for it. If you want to overpay for it, it's your own damn fault.
All right. Well, we're going to end it on that. And thank you again for coming on. Great information. Another great side chat.
Thanks for having us, Scott.
Yeah. I want to say before I let my side chat go, thank you for taking the time and come on and choose me to watch. I am really appreciative of you all, y'all. And I appreciate everybody that watches this in archives. Until next time, see ya.